So Josh, here's a question as we're about to have lunch. We get entrepreneurs always ask, like, should I wake up early? And I know you've got that in your book. You talk about, getting things done. In fact, I've got your manuscript here from your book, which one of my favorite books is, you got a quote in here from Gary Keller. So, do your most important work, your one thing, early before your willpower is drawn down. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it's not easy to wake up early. People are wanting it to be easy. They think that somehow successful people who wake up early, they're just wired different. Their internal clock is different.
Yeah. Oh, but I'm not a morning person, Josh. That kind of thing, right? I'm a morning person. Actual morning person, by the way.
I mean, how many times though have you sat up there and just wondered, like, man, I would like to sleep in a little bit longer.
Well, everybody
today.
does.
Everybody does. People think that successful people don't have that. Of course you do. Your bed's soft. You're sitting there and you just want to stay there another hour. I mean, but like, look at what we've done today, right?
That's true.
Today, we're sitting here at lunchtime, right?
Yes.
I have already flown from Edmonton
to
Vancouver, arranged a joint partnership with, someone in Florida already.
Yeah.
And now we've already knocked out 4 content videos.
Right. And I've had 2 team meetings.
Yes.
I've had a client meeting.
Yes.
I closed a $25,000 deal.
Yes.
And I met up with you and coordinated with the film crew, and we've shot off those 4 videos.
Before lunch.
Before lunch.
Before lunch.
Right. And we're on the West Coast.
Yeah.
All the more so, it's very important because the people on the East Coast, right now, for them, it's already in the afternoon, evening. They're getting ready to wrap up their business day.
100%, right?
Right.
So it's not easy, right?
Yeah.
But is it necessary? It is. I mean, statistically, most executives, for example,
right,
they get up before 6 o'clock in the morning, right?
Right.
When you study the schedules of Fortune 500 companies, they're getting up at 6 a.m. or earlier, right?
Right.
My flight here, I was, normally I have the 5 a.m. right on the hood of the Raptor, right?
Yes.
But today, sometimes I have to cheat a little bit. And when I say cheat a little bit,
yes,
it means today I had to get up at 4:15 because I had to get on the plane on time, right?
Right.
So, I mean, that's just how it works. Right?
Wow. So Josh, I mean, now, is every hour of the day equal? I mean, like, some people say, hey, can I just wake up at 9 a.m. in the morning and just work I'm a hardworking guy.
Yeah.
Can I just work till 10 p.m. at night? Can I put in my 15, 16 hours?
They're not the same. Decision making is like any other muscle. We walk for a mile, we're fine. We walk for 10 miles, we get tired, right?
Right.
Decision making is no different than any other physical activity that we do. The success in our decision-making ability, it goes down throughout the day. The more decisions we make, the more fatigued we become, the less likely we are to make a good decision.
Right.
Statistically speaking, most of our best decisions come from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m., right?
Right.
So by 1 p.m., you're already on the decline pretty significantly, right? So every hour is not the same. So it's not just the time that you're waking up, but it's the time that you're tackling, just like Gary Keller says, your one thing, your most important thing, earlier in the day rather than later in the day.
Correct. And there's a lot of other books as well. I mean, I've always been big on productivity, and we did another video, by the way. If you want to check out the other video up here, the I button here, we talk about scheduling and about versus to-do lists. There are books that talk about your golden hours. I think a lot of sales books talk about certain income-producing activities done within sales, golden hours. There is books about when your biorhythm, when you're performing your best, and to get those things done first. You mentioned it actually in your manuscript that you don't want to do some of the important things at the end of the day because when you're fatigued, that's when you make poor choices and you're probably succumb to temptations and things like that may pop up. So tell us more about that.
I mean, you really have to figure out in your business, there are some tasks that are more routine, right?
Okay.
For example, I actually schedule the client meetings at the end of the day, which might sound strange to the client, but what the client has to understand is that I'm really just presenting a project that's already completed at that point, right? All the hard work was getting the project to completion to begin with, right?
Right.
Once I'm just explaining a finished product, right? So there are certain things that you do in your business that are less taxing, less taxing on your mental capacity, right? Those things you want to schedule towards the end. The stuff that's easy for you, the stuff that's more repetitive, schedule that at the end. The harder things, the things that you're more likely to procrastinate on, the things that will have more significant consequences of mistakes, you want to group those earlier.
So then let me ask you, Josh, when we're like this whole series, this whole playlist that we're talking about, it's all about time management.
Yeah.
What about family?
It's a big consideration.
Right.
Family's a consideration. I mean, both me and you are dads, right?
Yep.
So.
And happy wife, happy life. If you're not scheduling that time.
That's right.
That's a sure recipe for a divorce or something, right? We've seen so many entrepreneurs go down that path.
It's an issue, right? And our partners, our kids, they don't tend to complain when we're working on something at 5 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
But if we're working on something at dinner time.
Yeah, and you keep missing those dinners, or you keep missing those ball games, or those concerts, or you keep missing. Yeah.
Exactly, right? So it becomes even more important if you want to have a family, right? You know, actually juggling entrepreneurship with your family.
Yes.
It's like, yeah, you could work later, but you'll be a divorced entrepreneur.
Right.
You won't have a relationship with your kids. You'll be that type of entrepreneur, right?
Right.
So it plays a significant role, increasing the importance of this.
And I know, Josh, there's another question that I get all the time, and when we read all the comments. By the way, if you found this video helpful and you're really liking what you're seeing in this video with Josh and myself, and you'd like him to explain a little bit more, there's a couple things you can do. You can comment in the comments below, and I'll get Josh to specifically answer your questions. Or the other thing you can also do is Josh puts on a business bootcamp. Now, if you're really hardcore and you're a business owner that's serious, you may want to attend Josh's business bootcamp, but you can find out more information at spurrell.ca, SPURRELL.ca. Josh puts on this bootcamp and he invites real live business owners who are running their businesses, who have employees, who are beating the odds. They're beating that 96% failure rate. They actually succeed. So come and meet them. And so, Josh, the question I get all the time is, should I work on weekends? And we'll cover that in another video. You guys can check that video out up here. I'll put it up in the I button up here. And that thing ties into the whole family. What do you personally do with your weekends and your family? And then we'll go into deeper details in the other video, but just give them in terms of scheduling.
I mean, I work on weekends. I work that 6 day. I think it's that 6 day advantage, right?
Yes.
I'm not sure if a 7 day work schedule, I think it actually, you start to decrease in your
you actually block out that time. You schedule free time for your mental thinking time, right?
Yeah. To me, it's that 6 day, and rather than work that 7th day, I got to fit those 80 some hours in those 6 days. I got to wake up earlier.
Do you still wake up early even on Saturdays as well too?
I have 8 a.m. meetings regularly every Saturday.
Right.
Sometimes people think that that's an extra meeting. I was like, no, that's every single Saturday for years.
Correct.
An 8 a.m. meeting. That's when my meetings start. That's not when my day starts.
Correct.
I'm actually in a client meeting at 8 a.m. on Saturday.
Yeah.
Right?
Likewise, I've got a 7 o'clock regular meeting every Saturday.
Yeah.
And part of that is because of the family. I want to be able to, they're still sleeping at 7 a.m. on Saturday.
That's
right? While dad is getting things done and we're producing, income producing activities, closing deals, client meetings. And by, 11 o'clock in the morning, right, I can then go schedule family time to go have brunch or go do outings and everything else like that with them. Josh, what are some action items? If someone's watching this video right now, some easy actionable items that they can go implement right away. Where do they start?
Well, you're going to need to just start. Here's the thing. People think that there's some sort of weird science that you're going to try to figure this out. You're just going to need to set that alarm clock for 5 a.m. And when it rings, you're going to need to get out of bed. This is how it works.
Don't hit the snooze button.
Don't hit the snooze button. Get out of bed. You're going to feel like a zombie. You're going to be a zombie for a day, 2 days, maybe a week. But eventually, guess what's going to happen?
Your circadian rhythm will catch up.
It's just going to change, right? And people overcomplicate this. We've all traveled before. You've traveled to a different time zone, right? You didn't slowly work yourself into that time zone 15 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
Don't overcomplicate it. You just procrastinate. Some people out there, they're just procrastinating it because they don't want to get up at 5.
Right.
Just do it. Your body will adjust. It does all the time. When there's time zone changes, when you travel, it's the same thing. You'll feel awful, but then you'll get home at the end of the day and eventually you'll just fall asleep.
Something that works for me, Josh, and I'm going to give this as a bonus tip is, because, hey, as disciplined as I think I am, and, coming from a military background before as well too, and as a dad, but I still don't trust myself. So I don't just have snooze buttons or multiple alarms. I have accountability partners. I've got an accountability partner who's an early bird. He's pretty regular. And I have an accountability partner who will actually ring my phone. I mean, you're my accountability partner. Mondays we meet at 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
So whether I like it or not,
Pacific time.
You're ringing my phone at 5 a.m. On top of that, I also schedule meetings. So we scheduled that 5 a.m. meeting. So to have that 5 a.m. meeting, guess what time I'm waking up at? I'm not waking up at 4:55. I'm waking up half an hour minimum, an hour, to get my routine going.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I think I'm a little bit crazy, and Josh and I are a little bit, we're pushing it, the 5 a.m. odds. But if you're just getting started, I think even just get into a regular schedule. If you're waking up at 9 right now, maybe just start at 7, And if you're a 7 person, maybe just start at 6 or something, right? And then eventually get to 5. Josh, any final takeaways before we wrap this video up?
Yeah, don't wait for it to feel good. Start, because if you do it, we're always waiting for it to feel good before we start. It's like, no, it'll feel good because you're doing it, right?
Yes.
And then it will start to feel good. It will get easier, but it never gets easier if you don't start.
Well, we're gonna have our lunch right now. We're gonna close some more deals. We're gonna get some more videos out, right? And we'll see you in the next episode.